Good evening, Prerna. Confirm if I'm audible to you. Prerna, are you there? Hello, Prerna, are you there? Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Okay, good evening. All right, so I think we had completed our chapter in the last session.
Yes, sir. We have completed.
Okay, so we need to start a new chapter today, which
Yeah.
is basically cash flow statement. Okay, and in that case, just a second. We'll start with the meaning of the cash flow statement. Just give me 2 minutes. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the meaning of the cash flow statement, wherein we can define the cash flow statement as. Do you understand anything by the term of cash flow statement? What do you think? What is cash flow statement, Prerna?
The statement which is made for the
Go on, please continue.
recording of cash flow, inflow and
Okay,
outflow.
yeah. So, all right, yeah, you're perfectly correct. Cash flow statement is a statement which is prepared for the purpose of recording or showing the inflows and outflow of cash of a business during the period of an year, right now.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, you are perfectly right. So we can define the cash flow statement like this. Cash flow statement can be just a second. All right, yeah. So cash flow statement, as it has been defined here. Cash flow statement shows the inflow and outflow of cash and cash equivalent from the for the purpose of various activities of a company during the specific period of time. And that specific period here means period of 1 year, one accounting year. Why do we prepare cash flow statement? As you just said, that it is just to indicate the the basically inflows and outflow of cash of an enterprise. The purpose of cash flow statement is to provide useful information about the cash inflows and outflows of an enterprise, right? And cash flows taking place in an organization can be broadly classified into three categories. Do you know those categories? What are the various categories in which the overall cash flow of the business has been categorized in? Do you have any idea about that? Reena? Reena, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
So, do you have any idea what are the various activities leading to the cash inflow or outflow in a business? All right, never mind. I think you have no idea about that. No issues. See, in an enterprise, the reason behind the inflow and outflow of cash could be these three possible reasons. Number one, it could be because of the operational activity, right? Because during the operations of the business, we need to do transaction involving cash, and owing to that, there will be cash inflow and outflow, right? Then we also conduct some investing activities during the period of 1 year. Like we purchase some asset, we sell some asset. These are all investing activities. We invest certain amount in the securities, right? We borrow fund from the bank. These are what? These are all financing activities. And business also conduct the sorry the first of all there are there is operating activity, then there could be investing activity, and then there is the financing activity. So any activity relating to the operations of the business and causing the inflow and outflow of cash, such transactions are known as operating activity. And any activity leading to the causing the purchase of asset, buying of machinery, selling of machinery, buying of land and building, all these kind of transactions are basically investing activities. And borrowing fund, issuing securities, redeeming debentures, right? These kind of transactions or activities are called the financing activity. So all the activities of a business that a business conduct during the period of 1 year can be broadly classified into three categories: operating activity, investing activity, and financing activity. And accordingly, the cash flows can also be broadly classified into three parts: operating, investing, and financing. So cash flowing on account of operating activity is called cash flow from operating activity. Cash flowing on account of investment purposes, that is called cash flow from investing activity. And cash flow because of the financing purposes, that is called the cash flow from financing activity. So we can classify all the activities into three broad categories. I hope this is clear. Prerna, everything clear till this point?
Yeah.
Okay. So just do one thing. Please write all these things in your notebook quickly. So starting with the meaning of the cash flow statement, purpose of cash flow, and the various categories in which the cash flow has been categorized. Do it quickly, Janab and Prerna. Once you are done, let me know so that I can move to the next part of the of PDFs and I can explain that as well too.
Done, sir.
Pranav, you are done as well. All right, so she's not responding. I'm presuming that she is also done writing this. Now let's move to the uh, next part. Now, see, as I told you, cash flow statement deals with the activities leading to inflow and outflow of cash, right? And this is all about the cash flow statement. We will be dealing with all these activities in this chapter. We'll talk about the operating, investing, and financing activity throughout this chapter, but we'll first of all start with the operating activity. We'll start with the question based on operating activity. But in order to solve question based on operating activity, we will have to follow a particular format. There is a particular format, there is a defined format using which you will be determining the cash flow on account of operating activity. Unless and until you follow the particular format or defined format, you won't be able to determine the exact amount of cash that which has been inflown or outflow from the business. So it is always preferred that you should follow the defined format for determining the cash flow from operating activity so that you can get the right answer. And this is the format. And yeah, this is obviously this is a lengthy format that I'm going to show you. But you will have to follow the format. You will have to learn the format. In fact, not necessarily like you just don't have to cram everything. As we do question based on the operating activity, you will slowly and gradually start learning the various items that falls under the category of the operating activity. So you just don't have to learn everything by heart, but you have to attempt question. You have to attend question very sincerely, and once you attend the four question based on the operating activity, you will pretty much learn everything. You will I mean, you will retain everything that comes under the operating activity. All right. So yeah, this is the format of the operating activity. This is obviously lengthy format. It seems lengthy. It seems difficult as well. But believe me, this is not difficult at all because this is just a format. I have to write things in detail. So therefore, I have made the format in detail. But while we will solve the question might not be that difficult. Question might not require you to write all the items that I have written here because it is a format. Alright. And yeah, obviously, this is not items included in this statement is not exclusive. I mean, there could be other items that can also be taken into consideration. There are other items that may also be included under this statement. So this is not an exclusive statement. All right. Items can be, and there are more items that can possibly be included in this statement. But we'll talk about that later. Right now, what you need to do, you have to draw the entire format. Let me just explain you a little. We'll start with the net profit after tax and extraordinary item. This is the first information uh, that we need to write in the cash flow statement. If it is obviously, if it is given in the question, if question provides us with the net profit after tax and extraordinary item, so what we'll do, we'll write that in the first place. And after that, we'll simply add proposed dividend, provision for tax, interim dividend, taxes paid. All right. And try to figure out the net profit before tax and extraordinary item. The first item is net profit after tax and extraordinary item. We will add these four items, and there are other items also that I haven't written here. As I told you, this is not an exclusive list of items. There can be other items that may also be added or subtracted in the statement. So just to give you a quick overview of how basically cash flow from operating activity looks like. So therefore, I have made this statement. There can be other items as well. So after adding these items, proposed dividend, provision for tax, what you will get the net profit before tax and extraordinary. Now, since you got the net profit before tax, Now what you need to do, you have to basically subtract all the extraordinary items like depreciation, amortization, loss on sale of asset, interest on loan, interest on bank debenture, interest on debenture, interest on bank overdraft. And then there are certain items that you need to subtract as well, like gain on sale of asset or any other income. We'll talk about the logic why these items are being added and why items are subtracted. All right, we'll talk about the logic why certain items are being subtracted and certain items are added. We'll talk about that later. But for now, just follow the format and try to note this down. So after subtracting these depreciation, amortization, and everything from the net profit before tax, we'll get the operating profit before changes in working capital. And once you get the operating profit before changing in working capital, then you will further have to add if there is decrease in the current asset, increase in current liability. All right, and you need to subtract the value by which the current asset have increased and also decrease the amount by which current liability have decreased. All right, and by doing that, you will get the cash generated from operation. After that, you'll simply subtract the amount of tax paid, and once you do that, you will get the final answer, which is cash flow from operating activity. Now, here's an important take. If you are getting the positive answer, if you are getting the answer in positive, that means there is a cash flow from operating activity. That means we have earned some, there is an inflow of cash, but sometimes you get the negative answer. So if you're getting the negative final answer, that means that much amount has been used for operating activity. All right. I hope this is clear. The format is clear, everyone. Prerna?
Yes.
So just do one thing, please draw the format in the notebook clearly, neatly, and cleanly. Just let me know whenever you want me to scroll down, since it is lengthy. You will have to note down everything.
Done, sir. Excuse me, sir. Your notepad is not visible.
Is it visible now?
Yeah, it's visible.
So are you done with everything which is visible on screen?
Yes, sir.
Shall I scroll down?
Yeah.
All right. Please take a note of that as well.
Done, sir.
Then Zainab and Prerna. Done now, both of you.
Yes, sir.
All right. So okay, so this was all about the meaning of the cash flow statement and the format of the operating activity. So let's do a quick question based on the operating activity. Just a second. All right, so we'll start with this small question. It is an easy question. So question number one, pay attention, try to uh, basically understand everything, and then we'll start with the solution part. It says cash flow from operating activity 7 lakh. Sorry, cash flow from operating activity need to be calculated in this question. Profit for the year 7 lakh is given. Apart from this, we are provided with few other information relating to depreciation, amortization of goodwill, gain on sale of land, amortization of appropriation of the profit toward general reserve. All these things are given, and then there are few other information relating to changes taking place in the value of the current asset and current liability is also there. Okay, and keeping all these things in mind, we need to find out the figure out the cash flow from operating activity. All right. So let me solve this question for you. That will give you a very good idea how cash flow from operating activity is calculated, and that will also basically give you a clarity how the format is used and question is on the basis of that question is done. All right. So let's first of all let's start with the format. Cash flow statement showing cash flow from operating activity. The first thing we need to do, we have to start with the profit given in the question. So see, this is the profit given in the question, and it says profit after considering all the following items. So this is profit, net profit as per the statement given in the question. Statement 7. All right. But is it the net profit before tax? Tell me, is it the net profit before tax? Answer is no. We need to find out net profit before tax and extraordinary items. Right? And see, in the table given below the profit, in that table we have been provided with the amount of depreciation, right? And then we have the amortization of the goodwill, sale of land, appropriation of profit to general reserve. Now see, general reserve is the profit itself. Now part of profit is transferred to reserve. General reserve is part of profit itself. So in order to determine the profit before tax, what we need to do, we will add this amount so as to get the total value of the profit before tax and extraordinary item. So this is the net profit after the general reserve. So we will add the amount of reserve in it. General reserve. General reserve is how much? It is 60,000. So we'll add this 60. And now the profit, this profit will be considered as the net profit. Before tax and extraordinary items. All right. Now, do you remember what we need to do after the net profit before tax and extraordinary item? We, as per the format, we need to subtract the depreciation, amortization of the goodwill and every other thing, right? So we will have to, we will be adding the amount of depreciation.
Amortization.
Yes, amortization. So why we are adding it? See, because depreciation is obviously it is an operating expense, but depreciation is not something that causes reduction in the value of the cash. Earlier, at the time of calculating net profit, we must have subtracted the amount of depreciation as well as the amortization, treating it as a kind of expense or the loss for the business. We must have debited the amount in the profit and loss account, but realizing later that depreciation and amortization does not cause any inflow or outflow of cash, especially it does not cause any outflow, even though we are treating it as an expense and we have earlier subtracted it while calculating net profit in the profit and loss account. But later on, we realize that depreciation and amortization are the items that does not lead to any outflow of cash. But because it has been earlier subtracted, so now to correct our mistake or in fact to find out the exact amount of cash that flows from for the operational purposes, we will have to add it. We will be adding it because depreciation amortization does not cause any outflow of cash. So depreciation given in the question is 40,000, amortization is 20,000. So 40 plus 40. You understand that, Prerna? Why we are adding it? Is it clear, Prerna?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the next item is gain on sale of land. Now tell me, while calculating net profit, what we must have done with the gain on sale of land? While calculating net profit, what we must have done with the gain on sale of land? We must have credited it to the profit and loss account because it is a gain, right? So gain on sale of land increases the overall profit, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But gain on sale of land is not basically from the operational activity. Sale of land is not operating activity. You understand that? Selling of land is not an operating activity, and because it is not an operating activity and the income that has been earlier added to the profit, we will have to subtract it now because the amount of 90,000 which has earlier been added by calculating profit, because it was a gain obviously, we will now subtract it. Why? Because this gain is not from the operational activity. This is not related to operating activity. So therefore, we will have to subtract it. Less gain on sale of land. The gain on sale of land will be recorded in the cash flow statement under the investing activity. Got it? Any inflow and outflow of cash on account of asset or liability, that falls under the investment. In fact, the any inflow or outflow of cash on account of asset, that falls under the category of the investment activity. So we'll talk about that later. Gain on sale of land is not the operational source of income. So therefore, we have to subtract it. 90,000. Is this clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Then we have last item, appropriation of profit to general reserve. We have already treated it 60,000. We have already added it by finding out the net profit before tax and extraordinary item, right? So this is it. Now we'll just total it, and you have to tell me by totaling it what value, what are we going to get? 760 plus 40 will be 8 lakh 820. Out of 820, we'll subtract 90,000. I think that should be 7,30,000. Now you tell me, what do we call it? What is 7,30,000? Tell me quickly.
Operating profit before change in working capital.
Perfect. Good. Very good. Operating profit before changes in working capital or working capital changes. Before changing working capital. Okay, we got 7,30,000. Okay. Now we need to subtract the changes in current asset and current liabilities. So as per the format, if there is increase in if there is increase in the value of the current asset, that needs to be added or subtracted. Tell me. If there is increase in the value of the asset, current asset would be sorry. Could you please repeat?
We have to add it.
We have to add increase in asset. Are you sure? Or decrease in
No.
asset? Yeah. Decrease in current asset needs to be added.
Yeah.
So what is the purpose of adding the decrease in current asset? Like for example, let's assume debtors. Let's suppose that in the previous year, value of the debtors were 5 lakh, and in the current year, value of the debtor declined to 3 lakh. All right. So what does this mean, Prerna? If the value of the debtor is decreasing, that means we must have realized 2 lakh from the debtor. Our debtors have already paid 2 lakh. If in the previous year amount of the debtor were 5 lakh, and now at the end of the current year, it is only standing at 3 lakh, that means debtor must have paid 3 lakh, yes or no? Debtors must have paid 2 lakh to us, yes or no?
Yes.
And if he have paid it, then there must be cash flow, there must be inflow of cash. So therefore, if there is reduction in the value of the debtor or current asset, debtors are what? Debtors are current asset. Na? So if the value of the current asset reduces, it indicates there is inflow of cash. And because there is an inflow of cash, we will have to add it. Got it? So let's quickly check out whether in the question, is there any current asset given in the question? Answer is yes. Still, trade receivable and prepaid expenses both are the current assets. You have to check and tell me whether the current asset is increasing. First of all, talk about the trade receivable. What do you think? Opening balance was 60,000. That means at the beginning of the year, trade receivables were standing at 60,000. Now at the end of the year, closing balance of the trade receivable is 75,000. It indicates that trade receivable increased by 75,000. So increase in trade receivable leads to, it shows the outflow of cash. Do you understand that? Increase
Yes.
in cash, increase in current asset indicate outflow of cash. So it cannot be added here. All right. Talking about the prepaid expenses, it was earlier at the beginning of the year, it was 18,000, now standing at 10,000. That means there is a reduction in the value of prepaid expenses. And it clearly means that we have realized 8,000 by prepaid. So now we will have to add it. Decrease in current asset, under decrease in current asset, we'll be writing decrease in prepaid expenses. At 8,000. All right. Now, what else needs to be added? Increase in liability need to be added as per the format, right? Increase in liability need to be added. Why increase in liability need to be added? When liability increases, it shows that we must have borrowed certain amount from some third party, some outsider. So therefore, if liabilities are increasing, I mean the current liabilities are increasing, that indicate inflow of cash. Therefore, increase in liability needs to be added. But in the question, trade table is given by in place of the current liability, we have trade tables. And as far as I'm able to see, trade table is reducing. Out of earlier at the beginning it was 75,000. Now at the end of the year it is 50,000 only. So that means we must have paid 25,000 paid payables this year, right? If at the beginning it was 75,000 and at the end of the year it only stands at 50,000, that means throughout the year, during this year, we must have paid 25,000. So it indicate outflow.
Yeah.
We cannot just add it. So let's talk about what we need to subtract. We will be subtracting decrease in trade payables and increase in trade receivables. So trade payable decreased by 25,000. We need to subtract it. Anything, any value that need to be subtracted can be written in the bracket. And trade receivable declined by, increased by 6 to 75. So that means there is an increase by 15,000. 15,000 needs to be subtracted as well. Done. All right. And this is what do we call it? After adding and subtracting the changes in current asset and current liability, what is the value that we get? Tell me quickly. Rena, are you there?
Yes, sir.
What do we get after subtracting the changes in current asset and current liability? Is it cash generated from business? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And after cash generated from business, we further need to subtract one more thing, one last thing. What is that? That is taxes paid, I think. Right? Anyways, let me just first of all calculate it. 7,30,000 plus 8,000 will be 7,38,000. Out of which we need to subtract to 25 plus 15 is 40,000. I think it should be just a minute.
6,98,000.
Yeah, 6,98,000. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, as per the format, we need to subtract what? We need to subtract the amount of tax paid during the year. Got it? But the information relating to tax is not given in the question. It is not given in the question. So if there is no information regarding the tax, we'll presume that there is no tax, nil, and the entire amount will be treated as the cash flow from the operating activity. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Why am I writing cash flow from operating activity here? Because we have got the answer in positive value. So if we are
Yes,
getting the
sir.
positive answer, we will write cash flow from operating. Otherwise, we'll write down cash used in operating activity or operational activity. Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this was the first question that we solved. Now moving to the next question. Question number 2. Do you think you can do it? Question number 2. Do you want to try?
Yes.
Because give it a try. I'm waiting for it to finish. Done, Prerna?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you please tell me the answer to the question?
2,60,000.
Let 60. Just a second. Yes, 2,60,000 is the correct answer. Very good. Well done. Okay, so in that case, I think we should move to the next question. Question number 3. Do you want to give it a try as well? Just a second. Yes, I have few other questions as well. Okay. Let's do question number 3. I want you to try it, and I'll be giving you the next question as a homework, and we'll do one more question based on the operating activity in place. Kindly solve this question as well, Reina.
Yes.
Reina. Okay. Okay. Doing, Prerna?
Yes, sir.
Do it quickly because we need to do one more question.
Uh, Done, sir.
Tell me the answer, Prerna.
7,700.
7,700 is, I think, the right answer. Very good. Have you already done? You have did this chapter in the school or somewhere? Because you
Yes,
were
sir.
exceptionally well in this topic. Okay, okay, okay. Right. That is kind of revision for you. Okay, so let's move to the next question. We'll try to do one more question. I would like you to take the screenshot of question number 4. I'm giving this as a homework to you. This is comparatively little difficult as compared to the previous one. Not difficult. It is just a lengthy question. It might seem difficult, but I think if you will try to solve it, you will be able to do that. Done with the screenshot?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I want you to solve this as well. Question number 5. You don't have to find out the cash flow from operating activity in this case. You just have to figure out the net profit before tax and extraordinary items. That is it.
Done, sir.
Okay. So tell me the answer, Prerna.
7,45,000.
Yeah, that is the right answer. Good job then. Just giving you one more question for the homework. Including this, I think this is the third question that I'm giving you for the homework. Just a second. Yeah. Kindly take
Sir.
the screenshot of question number 6.
Done, sir.
Is it is the second question that I'm giving you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Then just a minute. Let me check if I have any other question available based on the operating activity. I don't have any other question as of now. We'll talk about operating activity. We'll try to discuss few more questions based on it in the next session. But for now, I think that is it. This is it for today's session, Prerna. I hope everything that we discussed from today's class is clear to you. We started the chapter with the meaning of the cash flow statement. I've told you that under cash flow statement, all the inflows and outflow of cash of a business are recorded, and all the inflows and outflow can be broadly classified into three parts: operating, investing, and financing activity. So in today's class, we were talking about the operating activity. We did the format of the same, and we did few questions based on the same concept as well. And from this point onward, we'll talk about more regarding the investment and financing in the